Hello again. We are back, PLG Disrupt Day 2. And now we are here with Ingmar Zahorsky, VP of Customer Success at ChartMogul. So, welcome. How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Excellent. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, I'm so happy about that. So, Ingmar will talk about about building a customer feedback process to drive PLG. The customer feedback assessment and collection is imperative when PLG is at play. In this session by PLG Disrupt, Ingmar Zahorsky, VP of Customer Success at ChartMogul, will discuss strategies on how to work with customer feedback and usage data across departments to drive PLG. The session's key takeaways are the following: how to collect and share product feedback, approaches to analyze churn, impact of cross-departmental CS on product adoption, understanding and improving ROI, and of course, ways to align your customer requirements with the roadmap. Am I right?
Yes, exactly.
Are we ready to start?
We are ready to go.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So I'm based in Berlin at the moment, but we'll be relocating to Toronto this month. I've been leading the customer success team at ChartMogul for the last 5 years. And at ChartMogul, we're a distributed team with entities in Germany, South Korea, and Canada. At ChartMogul, we built the world's first subscription data platform. We have thousands of customers, and businesses such as Pipedrive, Live Chat, and Buffer use ChartMogul to measure, understand, and grow recurring revenue. ChartMogul was product-focused from the beginning and also customer-centric. And I had the opportunity to join the company very early on in its first year of operation. One key area that really helped us to learn how to add value and demonstrate a return of investment to our customers were the use of effective feedback loops. This quote for me, it really iterates this point well, how product-focused companies such as Tesla obsess with having a solid feedback process. For Elon Musk, he said, I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing better. In this presentation, I have distilled the learnings at ChartMogul from the last 5 years on this topic into these 5 steps to build a great customer feedback process. Let's get right into it. The step number 1, ways to collect and share product feedback. We believe at ChartMogul that the best way to share product feedback is through both qualitative and quantitative analyses. Let's go over some of these scenarios that we use here. So the first one in this category, roadmap alignment calls. We do these calls with managed accounts. Those are our largest customers. And we do this early in the life cycle in order to understand the current and future goals and objectives of those clients. On this calls, the customer success manager, together with the product manager, get on a call with the customer. And then in these calls, we look for opportunities to align their requirements with our roadmap. And this is also forward-looking, where we're trying to understand where they are going as a business as well. And the benefit of these calls is also that these customers, they really feel valued and heard when being able to interact directly with the product manager. And this sets then in turn a precedent that we want our customers to be part of the roadmap discussion and to make them also confident to engage with us in the future once we have established this relationship. We actively encourage our users to participate in the roadmap conversation also through this type of in-product roadmap feedback. We found that our customers really want to engage and feel heard, and we want to make that process as easy as possible. And therefore, we've added a vision of future feature development into the UI framework. So users can then react to it, and it enables us to gather even more information. So you can see here a section in our settings where people can then click on a particular functionality. I want this, you see in the screenshot left, and then it takes them to a type form where they can fill out their particular use case and contextualize it a bit more. And this data then helps our product team to earmark these power users for beta releases or to engage with them further. The next one, dedicated landing pages. This surprised us a bit, how much value we got out of this, in that it was getting a lot of traction. And we built these landing pages like for an extensive list of possible integrations we could offer to expand the ecosystem of bringing more customers into our platform. And these were really a great way to evaluate market demand before doing anything. And it built up a list of prospects, their requirements, and helped us initiate conversations. So when you scroll down on a particular landing page, we are gathering more information about the customer. And we found that having all these out there, it really challenged our assumptions regarding our own market research and then validated other assumptions. We also use automated surveys as well. Primarily, we focus on doing CSAT or for the transactional interactions, and then NPS we do on a quarterly basis with our customer base. And we found that it has been really useful to see bigger trends. And we found that the comments that we receive beyond being able to generate a score, and one could debate whether that is helpful or not to have the score. But what we're certain about is that the results we get from these detailed comments are invaluable. And many of our users do give us very detailed feedback. And we found these results have really helped us to contextualize many of our users' pain points, and then as well as their victories of areas where they're really gaining a lot of value that also sometimes surprised us and were something that we could then learn from and try to replicate across our customer base. We review and share this NPS results and categorize them in our monthly town halls. And this enables us to reflect as a company together and create initiatives across departments, but also to adapt the roadmap. We see the metric itself and the responsibility around NPS not as departmental level goal to improve it, but as a company level goal. We make sure to really sweat the details when it comes to understanding the most negative feedback as well as the most positive feedback in these discussions. Step number 2, approaches to analyze churn. This I found is a really invaluable feedback loop to utilize and understand. The first item here, this might be a bit counterintuitive to a product-led approach, but we did find that not having a cancellation button actually it turned into a great feedback loop for us. Manual cancellations enabled us to have a conversation with the customer at the point of churn. And we were able to, in many months, solicit over 70% feedback from customers regarding the reasons why they're canceling. And as a B2B SaaS, we found the volume that we're handling there quite manageable to do this manually and valuable. But if you're a B2C company, then of course it might make sense to automate this process once you really understand the categories of like feedback well. Key account exit interviews are something that we always solicit from our larger customers, where we get on a call. It will be the customer success manager who has a relationship with the customer, and then we have a script that we work with where we can have a consistent data collection to compare it. And we found this to be an exercise really of listening and then being good at cataloging the data we gathered so that our product team can use it in a meaningful way. This also has helped us to do these interviews, has helped us to reactivate in the future some of these customers that churn. So we usually have a pretty soft touch here where we're not really trying to twist their arm or keep them from leaving, but we're like gathering all the intel about the customer of what was really the reason. And sometimes you have data there that you can use in the future when you evolve your product to get those customers to come back and keeping the relationship alive and keeping them as a trusted partner. The next one here, grouping churn by MRR, lost by reason. Well, it's quite common to look at customer churn, but we also found it really invaluable to group your churn by MRR to see where you're losing the most revenue. The bulk of our churn is always product related, and therefore like grouping it into categories and then even subcategories and mapping this churn to specific product initiatives has really helped us to drive it down. And with some of the churn analysis, it is of course important to read between the lines and to sometimes follow up to gain more information. For example, if a customer says, I'm churning because of price is too high, and they're going on and on about it, how they feel like they pay too much. It's usually just means they're not getting enough value, and then it's important to drill down and understand why that is. Correlating churn with deals lost. This analysis, it really helps you to not only look at the end of the customer journey, but also at the very beginning. When we correlate categorized data of deals lost, which our sales team gathers and compiles, and we correlate it with the churn reasons, then we found quite a number of reasons that are similar and that then result in customers not converting and churning. So in many cases, this has really helped us, this analysis, to combine product work that reduces churn, and at the same time, it also impacts conversion rates. Step number 3, driving product adoption through cross-departmental customer success. This is one thing I'm particularly passionate about, these initiatives that go across the entire company. And there are also opportunities, again, there to have feedback loops in them. First one here, product-based content marketing. at ChartMogul, we had the same mission with our content team as the mission of our product, to help our customers grow their subscription business. And what you see here is an email notification that goes out to users of ChartMogul regarding an MRR movement in their account. And at the end of these notifications, of which we send actually millions a month, you see our content there. And this is then consumed by our prospects and customers alike. There's often quite high engagement with this. And customers start a conversation, are hungry to learn more and want to know how they can apply what is in this content to what they're doing in ChartMogul. And that way, our content is helping our users onboard and become more advanced users of ChartMogul. We've gotten to the point after now being in this business for about 6 years, where we have established ourselves as expert in SaaS metrics and attracted readership through that. And we approach creating content in the same way as building features, in that we always want to stay focused on our core market and audience. Weekly product and CS alignment calls. This is a cross-departmental initiative that we do on a weekly basis between the product and CS team, or some members of the CS team, the more technical members. In these updates, product managers share headlines from everything that has happened during the week to bring everybody on the same page. We also then discuss things like open issue temperature, sort of the most pressing issues, and sync up on their status. And what we found really valuable here is that it enables the customer success team to really provide clarification beyond what's communicated in just messages on contextualizing it. And it has proven a really important avenue for the CS team to advocate the customer's perspective on how important something is, or why they think it has to be different, if it relates to like improvements in the product. And these discussions really have helped tremendously with that. The next cross-departmental initiative here, the sales to customer success handoff. The strategic CS and sales handoff, it enables your team to gather quite a bit of feedback to understand the goals and objectives of the customer. At ChartMogul, we do value-based selling, and our sales team is trained and is quite product savvy and able to gather a lot of valuable information about the customer during the sales process. We all know success can mean different things to different customers. So having this product-driven sales team, it really helps set the right expectation, gather sort of information around bad fit areas maybe of the product, or maybe areas where the CS team can jump in and take over to find solutions. And we found that timing is really everything when introducing the success team, and having a timely handover where knowledge is the key ingredient, really, that powers these handoffs. Combining feedback and product usage. Well, this is really a powerful way when using both data and qualitative feedback to gain insights into your customers. This is an example here where at ChartMogul, a percentage of our customers do manual invoicing, and this requires them to add the data also in a manual way into our system. And This has been like a pretty painful process, and we have some customers who have a lot of manual data. So it means they're invoicing customers in a way that can't easily be integrated and automated. So bringing in this data, it's part of the process of many of our customers. And we built a third-party Google Sheets app that was really had a bad user experience, and that in the framework that we were constrained by the Google's API, we couldn't do certain things, and the validation to make the user experience easier, and performance was also an issue. So we would get comments like this here quite a lot in NPS and other venues on the left. It's just been too hard to manage with the Google Sheet method. So we're not finding the value of it. And then we would correlate this data with other data points. So we looked at, see in the other chart here, for a set period of Zendesk reporting, we have our ticketing system, and we could see we were spending a disproportionate amount of time helping customers operate the Google Sheets app. And we could see further that also usage dropped over time for customers relying heavily on this functionality, and that also conversion for prospects was lower when they had a lot of this manual data. Well, this made it very clear we needed to solve this. We built a native manual data uploader so that we could control the entire customer experience in our application. And then once we did that, the response was really overwhelmingly positive. We saw churn rates drop for customer segments, an uptick in conversions, and the support volume for this manual data requests are also decreasing significantly. This is also a screenshot from ChartMogul, like from our own live account, showing this like decrease in customer churn here, powered through feature development. Step number 4, understanding and improving the ROI of the customer. Data-driven companies, they consistently create outcomes by understanding and improving the ROI of the customer. I would say that customer centricity is really powerful when you tie it to data. And it allows stakeholders within the company to own a number and to improve a number. So you really know when you achieved something, when you hit a goal. In order to drive these outcomes, we went about establishing really a baseline of success in our early years, where we set out to understand the common characteristics of our power users. We built close relationships here. You can see some of these case studies with founders and senior employees of those teams to understand how these different types of businesses and customer personas were achieving those outcomes in ChartMogul, to understand how we could measure them. Many of these stories also ended up becoming these type of case studies when we were doing this research, build stronger partnerships. Once we knew the data, like for us, establishing some key ROI metrics became then the next step to measure those things that the customers really cared about. And this can also change over time as your company evolves. In our case, now what we've been really working on recently is starting to work with larger and larger companies that have a lot of data. So being a BI system processing millions and millions of data points in a short amount of time, monitoring and improving performance, it really became a paramount as the queries were increasing at rapid rates, and it was really pushing the boundaries of our infrastructure. So we really focused on that and are focusing on that and are driving that down. And it's really initiative that also goes across product, customer success, and engineering teams, and rallying around those goals. Another important ROI metric for us has always been the speed at which we're resolving complex technical inquiries. We have a very technical product with a very technical onboarding. And in order to get the customers to their goals requires us to involve often the product and engineering team for input to understand their data structures. This, of course, also includes bug resolution and its efficiency. We then, in order to define goals that can be measured and approved, we really mapped out this journey of issues as they're moving across our teams. And the screenshot, I realized it's a bit small, but you get the idea of the different stages here, and it's color-coded here. So essentially, once we could divide this into these 4 stages, we could then set SLA goals for each stage. And we could also have a certain variation based on like the prioritization, where we then were able to build the reporting also for this, for each step, which took a bit of time. But now we can measure each step in this process, and we can drive the goals for these SLAs, for these stages. And this has really made a significant impact in delivering a consistent customer experience where it really matters. Understanding the ROI with SaaS metrics. This is a topic we're really experts in. Pricing power is a great indicator to benchmark return of investment, and using SaaS metrics enables your team to connect their activities that they're doing in their respective department to revenue generation. And then being able to look at that in your metrics, such as in this example here, around pricing and packaging. So this is a particular plan here that's selected, and we can see here comparing, what percentage of customers has a discount visually, and you can see those that don't have a discount. And we can see that those that don't have a discount, it's a much larger piece of the pie here. So this could give us an indicator, could be an indicator that the perceived value is high for this particular plan. And it could also mean that your sales team is really good at not giving discounts. But once you have this data, you can sort of drill down and understand what is causing this, how can you replicate it, how can you make it even better. Step 5, our final step, is to look at ways to align customer requirements with the roadmap. A few years ago, this is a short story tell you from our experience. A few years ago, we thought would be a really good idea to significantly expand our ability to work with customers that mainly have non-recurring revenue, or a portion of their revenue is non-recurring, and have more sophistication around this analysis rather than just focusing on our core, which is subscription analytics. And we had interest from customers and non-customers, and we thought, okay, we'll do an experiment, and we built out some features there, spent a bit of time, and got a bit distracted even, I would say. And we had so much work to do on our sort of core product delivery that it did distract us. And the traction we got from this was minimal. So there was really a disconnect between like the sort of interest that we had that we didn't really fully understand and drill down into. And then we quickly realized, okay, this was a mistake. We were trying to do too many things. There were already other companies who were really focusing on just analyzing this non-recurring revenue, and it didn't make any sense. And we reverted back to focusing all our energy onto our core market once we realized this. And it really re-energized our team, where before it felt like we just didn't have enough time. And the more focused we got, the more our team got excited to work on this core area. We're really providing value. Our customers got re-energized as well, and our revenue growth started accelerating also significantly. Thinking in themes. Well, having an efficient process to categorize and catalog feature requirements helps you to do this. This makes it possible to have a more holistic view on feature developments and improvements. We're looking at product work in these themes and also your forward-looking vision for the company. Then you can see opportunities to streamline the alignment of these themes with the roadmap, especially referring back to our earlier point when we do these roadmap alignment sessions with customers. No matter where we were in our growth as a company, I always felt our product and engineering team's time was precious, and it really required ruthless prioritization to help us come out ahead. Differentiating between cosmetic and outcome-driven product work. You probably had this experience before as well. Some of your customers might be very loud about a particular feature request, making it sound like a must-have for them. But when you dig deeper, you'll find that's it's actually might just be a cosmetic thing that's not really driving outcomes for them, even though it occurs at a high frequency and maybe it takes up a lot of mind space. If you're like, I'm hearing this all the time, we need to do this. But we got better over time at differentiating between the cosmetic and the outcome-driven work. And then like focusing on that more, it really helps move the needle. Building flexibility into the product. So having built and maintained many integrations from the early days of the company, we ended up at times getting quite distracted, honestly, to try to support a number of edge cases that would come up in billing scenarios where customers could do a lot of different things in a billing system that were really non-standard and were breaking something. And this occurred, like regularly. And then for us, building flexibility into the product, the customers can solve these edge cases rather than solving the edge cases themselves. This really was a game changer for us. So we built out features such as MR editing, being able to merge customer records into each other, connecting subscriptions. And this really significantly reduced the must-have edge cases that we were working on, and really kept us focused on the important work. And this is something that really moved us forward, and we were really glad that we did this. Allowing your users to extend the functionality. This is something that really started becoming more and more important as we were getting feature requests also around sort of specific things our customers wanted to do to extend ChartMogul beyond what we were able to do. rather than building features, it made sense to being able to do that with an extensive set of APIs. And this then enabled our users to extend the functionality of the platform themselves. It solved many feature requests and then established a third-party ecosystem. This also opened up opportunities for solutions component of my team, which is quite technical, to cater towards specific requirements for some of our larger customers to help them out. The key takeaways from this presentation that I'd like you to walk away with are these four. Agile feedback loops accelerate innovation significantly. Don't just rely on data, talk to your customers. This seems like a no-brainer, but when we're super data-driven, it's sometimes hard to remember to sort of always try to correlate the data that we have with these conversations that we have with our customers, and getting product managers actually on calls with the customers, and even getting sometimes engineers to talk to the customers helps for them to understand their perspective and gives them a different approach to solving problems. Product-led companies make CS a company level goal, not a departmental level goal. And then the last one, the most important one for me, is measure and improve high impact customer outcomes. And this is how we win. Thank you very much for participating in my presentation. I hope some of the experiences will be useful to you and your team. And here is my contact info. Please keep in touch. I'm keen to continue the conversation. And also we have now still a Q&A session. We're happy to answer any questions from you.
Thank you, Ingmar. Thank you so much. You may close your presentation so that you can see us and have a talk, if you may. Also, I have 3 questions. The first is, how many customers do you talk to for roadmap alignment calls?
Yeah. So to give you an idea, our managed segment right now of managed accounts, like our really largest customers, is just about 100. So we have several thousand customers, but we those are sort of the larger ones. So I would say for these roadmap alignment calls at the moment, that would be maybe like 2 or 3 a month of new accounts like this that we either we get as new customers, or we could also have existing customers that enter our managed segment by really growing up to a certain amount of revenue. We segment by revenue, and our CS management team is really focusing on just a very small subset of high value customers at the moment.
Okay, so do you recommend dedicated landing pages for major features or for the product?
Yeah, for us, I think we did it more for the product. I would say for features, it's maybe better to go that route, like that I had mentioned, to have this sort of in-app. Like they put it into your application framework that I showed, where you can sort of click on it and sort of request it from in there. So, I mean, in some cases, we did preview some up and coming features on our like pricing page also. So we experimented with this as well, but we did find that this is tricky because it sort of raises an expectation when you say it's coming, and then actually customers can hold you accountable, and this could be problematic. And I'm always an advocate for under-promising and over-delivering.
Indeed. Couldn't agree more. Okay, so I have a comment from Alison Lavalle. She's posing two questions, if I understood correctly. So I will read the entire comment and let's go through it together, okay?
Sure.
So she says, Ingmar, love the roadmap alignment calls. Curious, do you leverage an outcomes-based roadmap, themes and customer value and outcomes, or do you show actual features and delivery timing? We're trying to transition to outcome-based roadmaps in a now, next, later time frame so that we have more flexibility in how and when we solve customer problems and deliver value. But our customers want a list of features and ship date. If you've been successful in outcomes based, would love to hear some tips.
Mm-hmm. I thank you for that question. I feel we were going through a similar process, really, where we were also in our first years trying to really pin it down on timelines as well. Mm-hmm. And we are also transition more to outcome driven roadmap planning, where we are actually starting to be more and more vague around timelines. And this has actually surprisingly worked for us to sort of manage and work with expectations, because mm-hmm. we did run into that problem where usually with some things, as you know, product work, everything takes longer. And if we do still for the things that we know we're absolutely going to do, where I can be 100% certain, and a customer will really drill me down and it's important to them to know when is it coming, then I work with very large time frames to sort of give our product and engineering team a lot of space. And this might be then maybe not always specific enough, but usually it's like a good compromise where the customer will walk away being satisfied enough. That's how I've been handling this, and my team has been handling this. But yeah, also moving to more outcome-based roadmap.
I see, that's a great point, and I think that you covered Alison's question and concern. I want to thank you for your contribution. Your presentation was really insightful. I really liked it, and I'm sure that the audience loved it as well. I want to thank you for answering the questions, and I hope that we meet again in the future, physically this time.
Yes, that would be great. I would love to do an in-person conference again. You did a great job facilitating this, but we're all looking forward to being able to see each other face to face again. And this was always such a great part of a conference, really, was this socializing, networking. This was always my favorite part, and I can't wait until we can do that again.
Oh, we too, us too. Thank you so much. Have a nice day and take care. Okay?
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so such an insightful presentation, wasn't it? So wait for just a few minutes. The next session will begin in a few by Yoni Solomon, Product Marketing Director at G2. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a few.